Allow me to reintroduce myself. My name is
Han Solo. I'm Captain of the Millennium Falcon.
Bond.
James Bond.
Up in the sky, it's a bird.
It's a plane!
It's Superman.
Hasta la vista, baby.
Say hello to my little friend.
Here's Johnny.
And here we go.
What is up, guys, and welcome to the 25th installment of Snack and Chat. Absolutely crazy. 25 episodes. I mean, that's half of 50. That's a fourth of 100. Can you believe that? Absolutely crazy. Madness. Insane. And as I said, I'm going to tell you guys what my snack of the day is today. And today, my snack of the day is a little bit different, as today I got some bean and cheese tacos. Absolutely delicious. Yeah. Wonderful snack to have. So, excuse me as I, munch on these things over here. Delicious. Usually I'd go into the movie news right now, but I have a little quick announcement about the channel. And as you guys saw, last week I posted the first episode of the First Time Watching series, which is a series I'm kind of trying out, where I give my reaction to movies that I'm watching for the first time. And last week I did Zodiac, and the next episode is going to be 2015's Fantastic Four. And I know in the first episode I said I was going to post them every Wednesday. I have now decided that I'm going to do it every other Wednesday to give me more time to edit them and do all of that stuff. So the next episode should be coming out this upcoming week on Wednesday, so be on the lookout for that. And let me tell you, you're certainly in for a treat, because it's definitely going to be a fun watch. And obviously, Graham, if you follow me on Instagram, you probably already know, but he's also in it as well. But yeah, it's going to be a fun video that you're in for. So with that said, now let's head into the movie news with our first of two topics. That's right, only two topics today. And our first topic is Tenet. I mean, there's not a week of movie news that goes by without talking about Tenet. So it's been reported that Christopher Nolan's Tenet, which releases on September 4th, which is next week, but there's also some preview screenings of the movie, I believe on August 30th, and some other ones, I believe August 28th and all that. Obviously in places where movie theaters are open, and it was announced that Tenet will not be showing at drive-ins and locations where movie theaters are not open. Tenet will not be shown in drive-ins in locations where movie theaters are not open when the film releases on September 4th. So let's say, for example, Los Angeles, which is a place where movie theaters are not open right now. Tenet will not play in drive-ins at Los Angeles because movie theaters are not open. And according to Variety, the reason Warner Brothers is doing this is to prevent any twists and turns of the plot from leaking. With that being said, I don't know why Warner Brothers is doing this. This move does not make any sense. I mean, why don't you want your movie to play on more screens and make more money? I mean, even in the article it says, quote, some exhibitors were surprised that Warner Brothers would forego the chance to have Tenet on as many screens as possible, especially for a film that carries a budget of around $200 million and will need robust ticket sales to get out of the red, end quote. I mean, it's just not a very good move by Warner Brothers. And again, like the quote said, this is a $200 million movie, and you're gonna need this movie on as many screens as possible, especially if movie theaters can only have a 25% capacity, I believe, for each theater room or something like that. And then it's like, okay, so you say that you're doing this to prevent any spoilers from leaking about this movie. I mean, I just don't see how this is doing that. I mean, if anything, showing Tenet in drive-ins in locations where movie theaters aren't open gives more people the opportunity to go see the movie, and makes the whole preventing spoilers and twists from leaking out from the movie less of a worry, because again, it gives more people the opportunity to go see the movie and not get spoiled. I mean, this move just makes no sense, again, especially for a $200 million movie. You're gonna need all the help you can get. I just don't understand this move. Makes no sense to me. But with that said, leave a comment down in the comment section below of what you think of this move by Warner Brothers, of not releasing Tenet in drive-ins in locations where movie theaters are not open. But with that said, let's move on to the next and final topic. I know, already at the final topic, but let's move on to the final topic, which is my most anticipated films for the rest of the year. Now, I figured that with the reopening of movie theaters and movies, some new movies coming out, I was like, hey, you know what? There's some pretty exciting movies coming out still in 2020. That is, if they remain in 2020, but there's still some exciting movies coming out in 2020. Why not do a most anticipated top 5 list for the rest of this year? So let's get down to this list, and coming in at my number 5 spot is Denis Villeneuve's Dune. Now, I feel like this movie could have, there's a high possibility of this movie going higher up on the list once footage comes out of this movie, and I know a new trailer is coming out for Dune next week, so that's pretty exciting. And I don't really know much about the Dune IP, and I mean, for this being on my top 5 most anticipated list, without me barely knowing anything about the Dune IP, is pretty impressive. But I mean, the reason why this is in my top 5 most anticipated list is because, one, Denis Villeneuve's directing, who is one of my favorite directors right now. You got that awesome cast. I'm hearing a bunch of great things about this movie, like how this is like the Star Wars and Lord of the Rings combined or whatever, but I'm hearing a lot of really good things about this movie. And then again, you have Denis Villeneuve directing, as well as the awesome cast, and the images have looked pretty cool. I'm just waiting for that footage. So this movie definitely has a high possibility of really going up on this list, maybe even number 1, to be honest with you. And coming in at my number 4 is Wonder Woman at 1984. And I mean, I've liked the trailers so far. I wouldn't say that they've knocked my socks off, but the action looks really cool in the trailers. There's some pretty good comedy bits in there as well. And then you obviously have Patty Jenkins coming back to direct this movie, and I thought she did a good job with the first one. And then it's Wonder Woman, it's DC, who's doing a bunch of crazy things right now. DC is just like, whoa, man, they're doing some crazy things. But Wonder Woman 1984 comes in at my number 4 spot of my top 5 most anticipated list. So now let's move on to the number 3 spot, and boy, let me tell you, the movie at number 3 and the movie at number 2, they're fighting neck and neck. They're fighting neck and neck, let me tell you. But coming in at number 3 is Pixar's Soul. I mean, it's Pixar. You already know you're going to go in there and you're going to need a tissue box, you know. But it's a Pixar movie. Of course you're going to get excited. I liked the trailers for Soul so far. The animation looks fantastic. And I mean, what do you expect from Pixar? They do some great animation. And the story looks pretty interesting as well. And like I said up top, it's a Pixar movie. It's a Pixar movie. You already know going into a Pixar movie that you're most likely going to get some Pixar greatness and some beautiful Pixar cries and laughs and all of the emotions. You already know it. So now let's move on to our number 2 spot, and coming in at number 2 is Marvel's Black Widow. That's right, folks, an MCU movie is still coming out this year with Black Widow. And then another movie that I've liked the trailers for. The action looks like tons of fun, let me tell you. And then this movie as well has a great cast. I mean, obviously you have Scarlett Johansson, Florence Pugh, who's just nominated for an Oscar this year. You have Rachel Weisz in there. You got David Harbour in there. This movie has a great cast. And then the villain Taskmaster, I don't know much about him, but the design of the character is great. I love the design of the character. Again, the action looks pretty sweet. Now, would I say that a Black Widow movie would get me as hyped as, let's say, maybe a Captain America movie? I mean, probably not, because, you know, it's Captain America. But it's the MCU. I'm really intrigued in seeing where the MCU goes after Avengers Endgame. And yeah, so Black Widow comes in at my number 2 spot. Pretty hyped to go watch Black Widow, hopefully in a movie theater. I mean, I'm sure it's going to be released at the movies. At least I hope it is. I mean, at this point, who knows? I mean, I wasn't even expecting Bill and Ted to go on VOD. Bill and Ted, by the way, is a honorable mention that I like to mention there. I almost made it. Now it's time to reveal my number 1 most anticipated movie of the year, or for the rest of the year, and that is Christopher Nolan's Tenet. That's right, the movie everyone is talking about, at least for the ever since this pandemic thing started. I mean, this is the movie that I want to see going back to the movies. This is the movie that I want to see going back to the theater. I mean, I loved the last trailer that came out. The action looks amazing. It looks amazing. But again, I'm excited for Tenet, directed by Christopher Nolan. The action, again, that's the thing right there. The action just looks gorgeous. Absolutely gorgeous. And then the reviews have been pretty good so far. So, I mean, that's obviously good as well. But yeah, Tenet comes in at number 1 of my top 5 most anticipated movies for the rest of the year. So to kind of recap my top 5 list, at number 5 we have Dune, which is slated to release in December of this year. And then number 4 we have Wonder Woman 1984, which is slated to come out in October of this year. And then we have Soul, which is supposed to come out in November of this year. And then we have Black Widow, which is also supposed to come out in November of, you guessed it, this year. And then number 1 we have Christopher Nolan's Tenet, which is going to come out next week. I'm probably not going to be able to watch it because I don't live near a theater that's going to be playing it. I'll just say that much. But so yeah, this is probably not going to be a Tenet review for a little bit, sadly, because obviously, as you guys know, I'm pretty excited to see it. But Christopher Nolan's Tenet comes in at number 1, and then you have the honorable mention of Bill and Ted, and also Mulan. I totally forgot about Mulan. Mulan's also a honorable mention there. So definitely leave a comment down in the comment section below of what are your most anticipated movies for the rest of the year. That is, if they remain in this year. So with that said, thank you for joining me on this installment of Snack and Chat, even though we had 2 topics to talk about, even though they were, pretty big topics, if I can say so myself. And don't forget to like and subscribe, because that is very important. And also leave a comment down below of all the topics of the 2 topics that I ran down through today on this installment of Snack and Chat. 25 episodes, just crazy, just absolutely crazy. And as always in every single video, look out for the next video or review. And peace.